Hello, my viewers. Welcome to Hoogar Social Academy. Let us learn about some of the very most likely questions which can be asked for the annual exam of 2024-25 from the social science of the chapter called as First War of Indian Independence. The chapter is been uploaded of the First War of Indian Independence. You can go through it, you can understand it, and after that you can once again go with or come back with the most likely questions which we are going to discuss today about the chapter First War of Indian Independence. The chapter becomes very important as it's a beginning of the freedom movement against the British. The British who have exploited us in a different form, who have drained the wealth of the country called India. The 1857 revolt have become one of the important time or situation which created the unity among the number of sepoys who were working under the hands of the British. These sepoys who were responsible for making or liberating us from the clutches of British. How come they could not able to overcome, but their effort has made or it alarmed, it wakened up the number of Indians who can raise their voice against whom? Against the British. In that chapter of 1857, we have learned many things regarding the economic causes, political causes, administrative causes, military causes, immediate cause or outbreak, Barakpur incident, Meerut incident, Lucknow incident, Kanpur incident. Moreover, we have learned about what were the reasons for the failure and what were the effects after the 1857 revolt. What happened? So you please you go through the chapter which already it is been uploaded so that it will help you to mark and to know very important questions of 1857 revolt. Let us go one by one that which are those questions which have been appeared again and again in the annual exam and which becomes more important for the coming year, for the coming year 2024-25 or the further number of years it may. Okay, so we'll go with the 2 marks questions, 3 marks question as well as the 4 marks question from this chapter called as 1857 revolt, the first war of Indian independence. So this chapter called as the first war of Indian independence. Okay, now here the first question regarding the important which matters. The conditions of Indian soldiers in the British Army was very pathetic. Justify. Now here, what was the condition of the Indian sepoys in the army of the British? In the army of British, as we have studied that Indian sepoys were more in number compared to the British, but we have to bow our head in front of the British, right? So whether it may be about their salaries, whether it may be their working hours, whether they are being taken from this nation to the England in the name of the service. So what was the condition? Why it was very pathetic condition? We have to justify, which has been asked in the 2019 and in the supplementary also for how many marks? For the 2 marks. So this question also becomes very important. In the same way, the next one is what was the immediate cause for 1857 revolt, which is again asked for how many marks? 2 marks. It's an immediate cause. What made that, or what alarmed, what angered, what situation prevailed, which made that we opposed to the home to the British. As when you go through the long videos, you will get to know that it was the introduction of the gun called as Royal Enfield gun, okay, which was been ordered to use it, and the rumor which was been spread that the cartridges of the gun was being made with the fats of cow and pig, which is unacceptable to the Hindus and Muslims. So when these sepoys opposed this, made the British to be very angry, and they punished our Indian sepoys, which converted into the causes for the immediate cause for the 1857 revolt. It is of 2 marks. Now the very third, list out the economic factors. Now here you are to going to mention about the what was the economic factor which was responsible for 1857, asked in the year 2021-22, again for how many marks? 2 marks it is been asked. Economic factors. Now here we have to elaborate, here we have to write it regarding in what way the wealth, the economy of India was being ruined. What steps were being taken by the British? How our small scale cottage industry were being completely ruined? How our workers or our laborers, they became jobless? How the land which was been gifted was once again taken by the whom? By the British. So these all things we are going to mention in the way in the economic factor. So this is also one of the important question from this chapter. The very next one, what were the causes for the failure? Now failure of which one? Failure of 1857. See, many times it has been asked 2021, 22, 23, for how many marks? It's a 3 mark. It's a fixed question. It's a fixed question from this chapter. 3 marks question it is. Now here you are going to mention about how or what were those different reasons why we failed in the 1857. Okay, being we are having a large strength, being the sense of unity was being created, then what made or what were those reasons that we were unable to defeat to the whom? To the British, who were less in number. Okay, whether we were lacking of the arms and ammunition, whether we were lacking of the leadership, whether we were lacking about the proper planning. What were those reasons which made that we were being failed? So this question also very very important for 3 marks question, why we failed in the 1857. The very next question is, what were the effects of the first war of India? Again this is a fixed question. Okay, after the failure means after the end of the war, okay, when once again it went under the hands of the British, the power went under the hands of the British, the sepoys were being suppressed, but yes, its impact was being there. So what were the effects of the first war of Indian independence? Again for 3 marks, April 2023, right? In the supplementary exam also it is been asked. Now here the question is related to what were the effects. So there, what happened after the 1857 revolt? The queen who came forward, right, with the proclamation which was being announced to the public. So what was being announced, how it was been decided by the British to run the administration of the India. Those all things we have to write in the way in the what were the effects of the first war of Indian independence. Apart from this, most likely question this can also be asked: how did Barakpur become the outbreak of 1857? Again, for how many marks? It can be asked for how many marks? 2 mark. It can be asked. How did Barakpur? Now, Barakpur is a place where the order was being given by the officer to took out the cartridges with their mouth, right? And the rumor what it was been spread that the cartridge is been smeared with the fat of cow and pig. The cow which is holy to the Hindus, and cow which is not pig which is not accepted in the way in the Islam religion. So those they revolted. So what become the reason for this? So that you are going to mention. How did Barakpur? So Barakpur incident has to be written up, particularly about the Barrackpur. And even the same we have learned in this chapter about the Meerut incident also. So that also becomes so Barrackpur as well as the Meerut incident, which become the outbreak for the 1857. And for the 4 marks, see here, in the April 2023, very important questions again. What were the political and what were the economic? Economic, as one more question, as we have studied regarding that, how the economy or the wealth of the India was been looted. But what was the political reasons now? When we talk about the political reasons, it was the British who entered the political system by introducing the doctrine of lapse, which says that if the king dies without childless or without child, his territory will be merged under the British Empire. Okay, because of that reason, Satara, Jhansi, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Jaipur, Kanpur, Jaipur, many a number of other went under the hands of the whom, under the hands of the British. So this political cause also began. So mix up of two questions now here: political as well as economic. 4 points of this, 4 points of this. Right? It is been asked for how many marks? 4 marks. So the condition of Indian soldiers in the British Army, why it is pathetic, immediate cause, what was the economic factors responsible, what were the causes for the failure, what were the effects of the first war of Indian independence, or what happened after the first war of Indian independence, the Barrackpur incident or the Meerut incident, as well as the political and economic causes. So these are very, very important questions from the chapter called as First War of Indian Independence. So once you go through the long video which I have already uploaded about the chapter called as 1857 revolt, right, in a very simple way it is been said to you, which will help you to understand very, very easily, and simultaneously with that these all important questions also you can carry out. You can take a small snap of this, which will help you to what, to later after the end of the completion of the this session, you can easily go through the number of these questions with the help of your teachers. You can frame up the notes of it, and as I always say you that your textbook is one of the biggest guide which will help you to learn more about which one about the topic and clearly to write the answers. So this is all regarding the chapter called as First War of Indian Independence. In my next session, I will come with the new topic, and regarding that topic, important questions, right? With the also upload of the that chapter also. Okay, let us meet in our next session.